I'd like to call the Oakland County Board of Commissioners meeting for October 20th, 2011 to order. I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Commissioners Bosnick, Covey, Crawford, Dwyer, Gershenson, Gengel, Goslin, Grimel, Hatchett, Hoffman, Jackson, Long, Mattis,
Here.
McGilvery, Middleton, Nash, Nuccio, Potts, Quarles. She's here. Runstead, Scott,
Here.
Taub, Weipert, Woodward, Zach.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Moving along, I'd like to recognize the Honorable Beth Nuccio to come forward for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd ask you to stand and remain standing, please. Commissioner Nuccio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This prayer was shared at the inauguration of Abraham Lincoln, and I think it's still relevant today, so shall we pray? With malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the wounds, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from October 5th, 2011. I need a motion to approve the minutes, moved by Dwyer, supported by Covey. It's just a vote for it, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes been approved. Moving along, we'll go to the approval of the agenda, and I'd like to call on the Majority Caucus Chair, Shelley Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 suspensions on our agenda. First is Planning and Building Committee, item D, Building Authority resolution approving form of sublease between the County of Oakland as a lessor and the City of Oak Park as a lessee regarding the City of Oak Park's administrative campus project located in the City of Oak Park, Oakland County, Michigan. We are going to waive Rule 9E. The item was taken up by the Finance Committee without a direct referral from the Planning and Building Committee. The next item is under Public Services, E, Prosecuting Attorney, Fiscal Year 2012 Crime Victims Grant Acceptance. We're going to waive Rule 3. Items for printed board agenda shall be presented to the board chair 5 days prior to the meeting. Item was taken up by Public Services Committee immediately prior to this board meeting. We're also going to waive Rule 3 a second time for item number F, Prosecuting Attorney Fiscal Year 2012 Victim Advocacy Program, Victims of Crime Act, the VOCA Act, Grant Acceptance. And that is it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So based on that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended per those suspension list items, moved by Taub, supported by McGilvery. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Commissioner Bosnick.
Yes.
Covey. Yes. Crawford.
Yes.
Dwyer. Yes. Gershenson. Yes. Gengel.
Yes.
Goslin. Hatchett. Yes. Hoffman. Yes. Jackson. Yes. Long. Yes. Mattis.
Yes.
McGilvery. Yes. Middleton. Yes. Nash. Yes. Nuccio. Yes. Potts. Yes. Quarles. Yes. Runstead. Yes. Scott.
Yes.
Taub. Yes. Weipert. Yes. Woodward. Yes. Zach. 24 ayes.
24 ayes. The amended agenda has been approved. We'll move along now on to communications, and we have a few proclamations today, but we'd like to start out with Commissioner Bosnick. I'd like to call him forward, as well as Mattis, Goslin, and Commissioner Grimel had mentioned it as well, but if there's anyone on the Democratic side, please feel free to come forward. Commissioner Bosnick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a proclamation this morning honoring a longtime Oakland County resident, Paul Carey. I just have a few words, just a brief statement, and then Commissioner Mattis will be reading the proclamation. Ordinarily, I'd rather speak extemporaneously and off the cuff, but Mr. Carey has been referred to in his career as the voice of God, so I figure I better not take any chances, and I better come with some prepared comments. Anyone who has ever listened to Paul Carey's voice knows that he has been given a special gift. He has shared that gift with us for decades, shared through a young boy's transistor radio, listening to a late-night ball game, from a car radio while taking a drive with loved ones, or from what we used to refer to back in the 1980s as a boombox, listening to a Sunday twilight Tiger doubleheader while playing ball in the backyard. Paul Carey's gift is now a voice that transports us back in time, a time when you could only watch most Detroit Tiger games through your imagination, fueled by the call of the game from Paul Carey and Ernie Harwell. Now we can follow every play and every pitch on our cell phones, as some of us did during the playoffs. Every game is televised. Whatever we don't see live can be viewed on replay on one of the many cable television channels or on the internet. Just as there will never be another Ernie Harwell, there will also never be another Paul Carey. As we've seen here recently in our town, our sports teams bring us together. When the Tigers win a playoff game, our community is uplifted, and when they lose, we all share the same disappointment. Paul Carey united us for decades through his broadcast excellence. He is part of the life's fabric for every longtime Tiger fan. It is truly an honor to be able to honor him. Commissioner Mattis.
Thank you. At this point, I would ask that Mr. Carey please come forward. And feel free, sir, to... I would just, before I read the proclamation, I would certainly echo the comments of my colleague. As a young man growing up in southeastern Michigan, huge baseball fan, listening to games on the radio, sometimes late at night after my mom had told me to turn it off and go to bed. Nothing short of priceless memories that I have of that time, and sir, you were a big part of that, so I wanted to thank you for that. The proclamation, I'll read it now. Whereas the qualities of life which we pride ourselves in Oakland County have been enhanced by the distinguished career of legendary broadcaster and longtime county resident Paul Carey. And whereas since 1949, when Paul Carey's distinguished radio career began at WCEN in his hometown of Mount Pleasant, Michigan, on August 8, 1949, he became one of the station's original staff announcers and was also part of the very first broadcast which aired at Central Michigan University football game. Whereas in 1950, Paul Carey's broadcasting career was put on hold for 2 years as he honorably answered the call of his nation to serve in the 4th Infantry Division, the 1st NATO Division during the Korean War, where he was a squad leader staff sergeant in a weapons platoon. Whereas in June of 1956, the metropolitan Detroit area was treated to his unique talent when he joined the announcing staff of WJR Radio in Detroit, Michigan. After 36 years of broadcast excellence at WJR, he retired in 1992. He left a professional imprint that includes working as a staff announcer, assistant sports director, and was the creator and host of the Michigan High School football and basketball scoreboard program for 35 years. And whereas for his tremendous contributions in the broadcasting industry, Paul Carey's name is forever linked to the Detroit Tigers organization as a producer of the Detroit Tigers radio network, where he worked from 1964 to 1971 before joining Ernie Harwell as a play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Tigers in 1973. For 19 seasons, Paul Carey was a part of one of professional baseball's legendary radio broadcasting teams. He is recognized as the king of the middle 3 innings among the nation's professional baseball announcers. And whereas Paul Carey is a legendary broadcaster who has received numerous awards, he has made his mark and left an indelible impression on generations of Oakland County baseball fans. His distinguished career also includes 6 seasons as a play-by-play announcer for the Detroit Pistons and a season as a color commentator for the Detroit Lions. And whereas we proudly join with a grateful community to celebrate Paul Carey for his achievements and professional excellence spanning 6 decades and commemorating the 20-year anniversary of his last Detroit Tiger broadcast in October of 1991. Therefore, we thank him for his commitment to the field of broadcasting and his exceptional contributions to our state. Now, therefore, I, Michael J. Gingell, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Vice Chairman Jeff Mattis, Commissioners Mike Bosnick, Robert Goslin, and Tim Greimel, do hereby proclaim commendation to Paul Carey for his contributions to Oakland County residents. Thank you, sir.
Wow. I'm overwhelmed by this. My goodness. Somebody found out my history, though. No, I'm very flattered by this honor. When Mike called me, I was surprised because I'm thinking about the Tigers of this year and what they were doing. They winning the division by 15 games and then getting rid of the hated Yankees out of the playoffs. So I was surprised when Mike was talking about my career, that there was any significance to early October. And sure enough, October 6th of 1991, we were in Baltimore. And it was a big day in Baltimore because it was the very last day that the Orioles ever played in Memorial Stadium. And they had a wonderful ceremony on the field. Brooks Robinson and Boog Powell and Bobby Grich and Frank Robinson, they were all running out to their positions. Tigers copied that scheme about 9 years later when they closed Tiger Stadium. So it was an emotional time in the field, but it was very emotional in the booth because Ernie and I were ending 19 years of our association together. It was a wonderful time for me. I was also surprised that Mike remembered that far back. You have to be old to remember when I was working, I think. But I think Mike was surprised that I had lived in this area this long. I was in Royal Oak for 17 years, lived in Troy for 17 years, and now in Rochester for 13 years. So I've been here in Patterson County for quite some time. I'm the one who should be thanking you because, as you know, without listeners, we don't have a job. And you made it possible for me to enjoy a 42-year career in broadcasting, most of which as a sportscaster. I lived a dream. When I was in the 6th grade, I dreamed I wanted to be a radio sportscaster. And I lived that dream. But I imagine most of you here in this room, when you were in the 6th grade, you dreamt you wanted to be an Oakland County Commissioner. I'm very humbled by this presentation, by this proclamation. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to call on Commissioners Janet Jackson, Maddie Hatchett, as well as the County Clerk, Bill Bullard, to come forward for our next proclamation. Commissioner Jackson.
Good morning. We're honoring Richard Bell and the Kids First Initiative. Could they please come up? I'd like to introduce this young man. Richard Bell, he has an initiative that originated in Pontiac, Michigan, called the Kids First Initiative. And what he does with his nonprofit, he goes out to the community and he inspires our youth. He inspires our youth as well as he does food giveaway programs, and he embraces the community, and he mentors children. One thing that we all know, we hear every day, what are we going to do with our kids? And some of us throw our hands up. But here we have someone that's throwing his hands around. One of our greatest presidents said, ask not what you can do for this country. Ask not what this country can do for you, but what you can do for this country. And here we have an individual that has taken it upon himself to do great things for this county. And what starts with the county, hopefully will spread to the state and spread to the country. Richard Bell, I'd like to thank you. I met him in Pontiac, in Commissioner Hatchett's home district, giving out book bags to the needy children in the community, or just children in general that needed them. And I was very impressed because not only, as you see, he's an African-American male, he's an African-American male who cares. There's a lot of stereotypes sometimes that are depicted. He breaks all of those. And so today I congratulate him for what he is doing. He has also come out to Southfield the beginning of this school year, and he did the same work in the community of Southfield. Over 70 children came out that day and got free school supplies. And in these days in time of need, it was a blessing. He not only gave out the school supplies, but he mentored children. And his concept all begins with something most of the guys have on here, is a necktie. I'm going to read the proclamation to Mr. Bell, and he'll explain about the necktie concept. And we'll share this. Clerk Bullard is here as well because he fits into this whole vision, because this year, you can tell them what you did with the clerk's office. Your casual day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our Casual Day Fund every month picks out a charity or a civic organization, and we found Kids First Initiative and contributed to that 1 month.
Yes. So we see this is something that we all can embrace. So let's talk about Mr. Bell right here, as we're so proud to have him here before us today. Could you read with me, Commissioner Hampton?
Well, I just want to say that I've known Richard Bell for a while, and he's investing in our future, because at some time, each one of us is going to be replaced by a kid that's become an adult. So it's a worthwhile and a very important investment. Whereas the qualities of life, which we pride ourselves in Oakland County, are best represented by special individuals like Richard Bell, who has worked tirelessly to provide services that meet the needs of area families and young people. And whereas Richard Bell is one of the founders of the nonprofit Kid First Initiative, which began officially in 2006 in Pontiac, Michigan. Under his leadership, the Kids First Initiative has positively impacted the lives of area youth since its inception, and whereas Richard Bell and many dedicated volunteers have put kids and families first in the communities of Pontiac and Southfield by providing holiday meals, clothing, and hosting an annual giveaway of book bags filled with school supplies. And
whereas the Kids First Initiative provides career day activities and a series of academic and life skill workshops, which include a popular necktie program. Kids First Initiative projects have been supported by Oakland County Clerk, Register of Deeds Bill Bullard Jr. and staff, who sponsored an educational field trip to the University of Windsor. This trip exposed area youth to international travel and increased their awareness of the importance of a college education. And
Whereas it is our wish to show our heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to Richard Bell for his tremendous dedication and commitment to the people of Oakland County, which serves as an inspiration to us all. We applaud his foresight and determination to empower, enlighten, and educate area youth and their families while continuing to address their needs. Now therefore, Michael J. Gingell, Chairperson of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Commissioners Janet Jackson, Maddie McKinney Hatchett, Tim Grimel, and Oakland County Clerk Register of Deeds Bill Bullard, do hereby proclaim commendation to Richard Bell for his leadership and giving spirit. We thank Richard Bell for his extraordinary contributions to Oakland County. Richard, congratulations.
Hello. I want to thank all of you today for this award, not just for myself, but for our organization. I wish I had the time to tell you. How Oakland County Commissioner Maddie Hatchett helped us to go from giving out 300 backpacks in 2010 to 1,275 backpacks in 2011. I just don't have the time to tell you that. If I had the time, I could tell you how Oakland County Commissioner Janet Jackson helped us to go from putting on our necktie workshop in one location in the city of Pontiac to 6 locations in 4 cities, including the great city of Southfield. I just don't have the time to tell you that today. If I had a little more time, I could tell you how Oakland County Clerk Bill Bullard and Register of Deeds and his wonderful staff donated their money from the casual day to our organization. And there are a lot of nonprofits out there. Like a friend of mine told me, you're not special. And that kind of set me back and humbled me, but he said, you're different, but you're not special. So they took the time to donate their money so our young people could take 2 field trips, not 1, but 2, over to Canada as part of our career day, because it's a global economy and they need to know how to compete in a global economy. If I had the time, I could tell you, but I just can't go into that today. But I do have the time to tell you a quick story. I was coming out of the gym in Clarkston, Michigan. That's why I'm a resident of that. I'm proud to say I live in Clarkston. I'm proud to say that I'm from Pontiac, and I'm a substitute teacher in Pontiac. I'm proud to say that I work in the city of Novi. And just a quick side note, if there's a recession going on, somebody forgot to tell the people in Novi because they're thriving out there in Novi. So I'm happy to say I work in Novi. We can learn a lot from the people in Novi. We can. I was coming out of the gym and I saw a mother sitting in the car, and along with being a substitute teacher, I'm a reserve police officer in Detroit, and I noticed she looked kind of suspicious. Something was going on. So when I got to my vehicle, I looked around and I noticed he was digging through the trash can, looking for cans. And she had a young child in the back seat. And I thought to myself right then and there, the next time someone asks me, why don't you just stay in Pontiac and help the people in Pontiac? Why don't you work where you're needed the most at? I won't say anything. I'll just think back to that mother and that daughter sitting in the car collecting cans, and let me know that there are people who are in need everywhere. There are people who are hurting everywhere. That's why today we're asking each of the county commissioners to recommend a family for Thanksgiving. We're going to invite 100 families to be served a warm meal at Pontiac Middle School. Sit down and be served a warm meal, and they'll also be given enough quality food in a basket to take home for 2 weeks. So I'm asking each of the county commissioners to help us out with that. It does 2 things. It helps us to reach some families that we wouldn't normally be able to reach, to get out in some districts we haven't normally been out to. And then also, just for that day, and for 2 weeks after that, it can help that family to get back on their feet. We're not looking to give somebody a hand out, but a hand up. If the family is here next year, still in need of a basket, then we haven't done our job here at Kids First. We want them to move on. So again, I'm asking the county commissioners to help us out. This is our 5th year doing our Thanksgiving basket drive. We're not looking just to do something, we want to do something special. Our necktie program, the kids are so excited to learn how to tie a necktie up. Once we get them with the neckties on, then we say, go ahead and pull your pants up. They don't mind pulling their pants up. We want them to start dressing like young professionals. We want them to start dressing for the jobs they want to get in the future and not the place they're in right now. They're dressing like the place they're in right now. They don't have a job, they're down, that's why they're dressing like that. As soon as we can get the neckties on them, they'll start to dress up. We have to raise the expectations. So I'm looking for the commissioner from Novi and these other cities we haven't been in to help me to get into the high schools. It's a totally free program. The neckties are donated. We want to come into these districts and show them how to put on a necktie and work with them and talk with them in a positive manner. Again, I want to thank Bill Bullard Jr. and his staff, Mrs. Maddie Hatchett, and the lady who helped all this to take place today, Oakland County Commissioner from Southfield, Ms. Janet Jackson. Thank you.
Okay, Richard. Right here.
Jackson, if you'll come on this side, please. Sir, can I come right here? Any vertically challenged person? There. Small round in the back. Forward in the back.
I'd next like to ask Commissioners Jackson, Quarles, Zach, Woodward, Covey, and McGilvery to come forward, please. And I'll call on Commissioner Jackson to begin the next proclamation. Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you. We'd like to present this to Ms. Cheryl Timms. Please come up, Cheryl. And I just want to, since we started out with baseball, she's Timms, T-H-A-M-E-S. Also, during this presentation of this proclamation, please, Eric Holman, please join us.
Okay, you stand next. Okay, okay. Stand next to Janet. Okay, I can.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Janet.
This morning, I'm very proud to honor Ms. Cheryl Timms in front of our board. Cheryl Timms is the recipient of the 2011 Athena Leadership Award presented by the Business Women's Professional Network.